I noticed also when I was putting the, the schedule together that there is a common theme that I will bring up during the show. And actually, the last one, two, three, four, five, 6 games all share the same thing. And there are 3 games before that that also share. So there's 9 games, and I'll tell you what it is when we get to it. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I think something either went haywire or Vegas is broken.
It's all gone wrong, isn't it?
I mean, it's AI though. The AI wouldn't have gone haywire. AI is perfect. We know that. The commercial told us so.
Malfunction?
Welcome to View from the Top of the Goalpost. I'm your host, Diesel, joining you from Diesel's Dapper Dungeon of Delight. I need to articulate. You got my partner over here. What does it say tonight? He's nothing is easy. Chad, nothing is easy. Smith, he's the Dadalac. Chad, how you doing tonight, Chad?
Oh, Diesel, as always, I am phenomenal. But I am so much better now that I am here hanging out with you, about to do some football picks and chat about the NFL, even though the refs make me want to vomit all the time.
You make me sick.
The refs are so bad. And like the thing about it is the NFL came out and said, yeah, our refs are really bad. But what do you want us to do about it? Like maybe hire some competent refs, or stop like telling them that they need to focus on this one penalty, and maybe tell them to focus on false starts, because I've seen so many false starts not called this year. It's nuts. People are just starting early and whatever.
Doesn't matter. Left tackles, right tackles, they can start whenever they want.
Yeah, this week also was the trade deadline on Halloween, and as the last few years, it's been the same. It's the baseball trade deadline now. We have buyers and sellers. It's really weird because the sellers are actually putting people on, like, up for sale. Like Chase Young going to the 49ers for a 3rd-round pick. That was a steal. The Bears got screwed, if you ask me, because they spent a 2nd-rounder on Sweat.
Yeah, and like who the hell? Like, how bad is their GM that they were like, all right, guys, we'll give you a 2nd-rounder for Montez Sweat. They didn't even inquire about Chase Young. Like, they didn't were like, hey, what about Chase Young? Like, maybe the 3rd-rounder? Or...
They also spent a 2nd-rounder last year on Chase Claypool. So, I mean, that shows you how smart the Bears front office is. I mean, look at the coaching staff they have, and look at how they've drafted lately. So, yeah, Ryan Poles isn't a very good GM, in my opinion. He came in there with some swagger, saying he was going to beat the Packers, and he's yet to do that, and the Packers suck. But
that's fact.
Anyways, so a bunch of big news with the trade deadline, and then we had a full week of games last week, and after an abysmal week from the both of us, we both kind of got back on track. Last week I went 13-3 after going 4-9. I had less losses this week than I had whatever. Still, I did good last week.
Great week.
Chad went 11-5, which is nothing to be upset about. That's a pretty good week as well. And yeah, so our total record for the season is Chad is leading at 77-47, and I am 74-50. So not too shabby. Gained a couple games on Chad. Maybe I can do some more this week. We'll see, because these games are crazy. I could see us having like 7 different games this week, because I don't even know how to go about these games. It's so scripted. But how did you do with your locks last week?
Well, folks, I determined that I am still at least moderately cursed, because Chad, the graphic, as you can see, for the first time, it took us all the way till week 8. We had 2 pushes last week in both the bonus locks for the Tampa Bay Buffalo game for the over at 42, which It hit 42 exactly, so we pushed there. And then we also pushed on the bonus for the New York Jets because they only won by 3. So double pushes. It took us to week 8 to get those. But then for the rest of them, we did get the gold lock right and the silver lock right with Minnesota and the Miami Dolphins. Unfortunately, Kansas City let us down. So we could not get the gold, silver, and bronze right this week. And also, Baltimore let us down this week with some backdoor bullshit at the end of the game because they were at -9.5, had to cover the entire freaking game. And then Arizona somehow got an onside kick. And then not only do they get a missed field goal, the refs go, nah, folks, that was a false start. They get to kick it again. And then they hit the field goal for just one of the most annoying backdoor covers ever. So we went 2, 2, and 2 for our picks last week. So not great, but
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, the Cardinals kind of won with like a surprise roll-up, if you will. They didn't win the game, but they screwed over your lock. But
They really did,
should-
and they screwed over my parlays. They screwed over a lot of people's.
Baltimore shouldn't have been favored by that much, and we talked about that last week. So, yeah, sometimes we're smarter than Vegas.
And I did forget, I did put a bonus lock on Texas as well. So the Houston Texans lost. So I actually went 2, 3, and 2. So even worse.
Sometimes we're smarter than Vegas, but we still feed into their chaos, and that's why they always win. They always win.
House always wins, baby. The house always wins.
So, are we ready to pick some games for Week 9 of the 2023 season?
Not even in the slightest. I have no idea what is going on anymore. And folks, get excited for later in the week when our power rankings come out, because trying to do the power rankings made me realize how little I actually know about what the hell is going on this year with the NFL. It is terrifying, and I have no idea. I'm going into this week basically blind. I did not look at other games. I think I know what my gold lock is, and that's it. Besides that, we're flying by the seat of our pants. So no, I am not ready, but I'm still going to go with it.
So I have my power rankings in front of me. We haven't talked about ours, and
Nope,
we
we're not
won't know
going to
until
either.
we're doing a separate recording too, so breaking the fourth wall. But Chad's a great editor. You might not even notice. I don't know how he's going to do it. But anyways, yeah, I am interested to see what Chad's power rankings are, because I know they're going to be different than mine. I bet you our top 5s are going to be completely. We'll have 2 of the same teams in the top 5. That's how I feel right now. I have no idea. I have no idea how to pick this week either. Just like last week. Last week I got lucky that I went 13-3 because that was a tough week. This week's not any easier, and we're starting out on Thursday Night Football with a hard one to pick right away, and that is the 3-4 Tennessee Titans traveling to the 4-3 Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is favored by 3 with a 36.5 point over/under, and the fan vote has Pittsburgh at 65%, with Will Levis as the quarterback of the Titans now. I don't know. Was that just he just had some extra adrenaline because it was his first start and he was balling, and he realized, hey, I got DeAndre Hopkins, so I'm just going to throw it to him. I don't know. Pittsburgh, I don't know what Pittsburgh is. 1 week they look like they're okay, and the next week they look like total garbage, like last week. I don't know how to. I'm going against America, and I'm going with Tennessee because I actually really liked how Mayo Man played last week, and just get the ball to Hopkins, and once they start figuring that out, just start pounding the rock with Derrick Henry. The Titans are primed to actually make a run in a not so good AFC South. I mean, Jacksonville only has 2 losses, but I mean, you never know. You get hot right now, they can make a run.
And there's 3 wildcard teams every year now. So, I mean, a lot of teams get in.
But you're saying there's a chance.
Man, this game makes me sick because Will Levis, and I looked back at the actual film on Will Levis, and not like all of the film, but I want to see those touchdowns again because when I saw it on Red Zone, I remembered thinking to myself, am I watching just the same play over again? Because he did the exact same motion. He did the pump fake into the just bomb to D-Hop on all three of the touchdowns to D-Hop. And then his final touchdown to, I can't remember the other receiver's name, was also the exact same throw. And it was, if you just cover the double move, it feels like he wasn't that good. And I was really into the Mayo Man as well. I was texting Diesel. I texted him, the Mayo Man cometh. I was jacked. And then he also got finally Desmond Ridder benched. So it also made me, I was very happy about that game as a whole. So I think that was like the high I was on. On that note, though, nah, I'm not. I'm taking Mike Tomlin against a rookie QB. I don't think the Mayo Man gets it 2 weeks in a row. I think the Pittsburgh defense sees that double pump fake into a long ball, and they do cover DeAndre Hopkins, and they also can stop D. Henry. And I know they lost Minkah Fitzpatrick for the rest of the year, but they'll be okay. Mike Tomlin is just too gosh dang good as a coach. Don't get me wrong, I like Mike Vrabel as well. But yeah, give me Pittsburgh in this game. And with the Thursday night bonus lock of the week, hopefully getting back on track, but I'm putting it on Pittsburgh. So you know Pittsburgh is going to lose this game and Tennessee is going to win. And I'm sorry, Pittsburgh, but I got to do it to you. So bonus lock of the week, Pittsburgh Steelers, eat the points. It's what you got to do.
As to your Mike Vrabel comment, he is the only competent coach in the Bill Belichick coaching tree as of right now.
Yep, a little bit. It is the true fact. But you know what? Bill Belichick wasn't here to mentor anyone, all right? He's here to win championships.
That's true. I mean, you can go down the line and you look at like Charlie Weiss and Romeo Crennel, and like those guys weren't even that good once it came down to it. I mean, they kept on giving Romeo Crennel like head coach jobs though. Like
always around.
He never won anything though. He won like what, 5 games a year for every team that he coached.
Oh, at least he always won the 5 games. To be
fair, he did coach a horrible Browns team, a horrible Chiefs team, and a horrible Houston team. He just kept on getting the bottom feeders. I don't know why he never got. Maybe it's just because he's not a good coach. I don't know.
Probably.
Anyways, Guten Tag, Chad. We're going to Germany on
Ahoy
Sunday at 8:30 a.m. here in the Central Time Division, which it's also daylight savings time, so it will feel like it's 7:30 a.m. or it will feel like it's 9:30. I don't even know. We get a game early though. I'm excited about it because it's actually a good matchup, and it is the 6-2 Miami Dolphins facing off against the home team, the 6-2 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 2.5 with a 50.5 point over/under, and the fan vote has the Chiefs at 52%. What do you have this game as, Chad?
I have this game as a massive headache, is what I have this game as, because son of a bitch, like, gosh darn it, like, this is probably the best European game that we have had in, I don't know, maybe ever.
Years.
Yeah, years, if not ever, because, man, the Dolphins, who are the Dolphins? They have beat no one who has a winning record. The 2 times they've come up against teams with winning records, they got their doors blown off both times by Buffalo and Philly. And then Kansas City. Who's Kansas City? They lost to the Lions, and then they just lost to the Broncos. And really, they could have lost multiple of their other wins if the Zebras weren't on their side for some really, really, really rough calls. This game's in Germany, though. So there's no home field advantage. It means nothing. Neither of these teams are teams that play across the pond ever because they're too good, so they don't usually send them over there to do this.
I still think you're too good for me.
I am going to take Kansas City only because I know you're taking Miami. And it is a pure coin flip game. And I just don't think that Patrick Mahomes will have the flu again this week. And I know that the Kansas City's defense isn't going to be able to do what they've done all year and hold them to under 21 points. But I do think that the Miami defense is still not very good, even with getting Jalen Ramsey back. And I just think Kansas City will rack up some points and they'll get a couple critical stops. I do still think Miami is a really good team, though. I know they're going to lose to another competent winning team and people are going to just rail them for it, but I'm not off the Miami bandwagon in any way. I just think, especially after a loss to Denver, that Kansas City bounces back here and Diesel is picking Miami. So I'm going to get a game up on here, or I'm going to go a game down. It is what it is. So please tell me, Diesel, why you are taking Miami in this game.
Yes, I am taking Miami. I just want to say, though, like, for as bad as, say what you will about Denver, the Packers still scored more points against Denver than Kansas City did. Just saying.
Fact.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes did have the flu, and I was texting you on Sunday that, because I was talking about, like, Broncos had to beat the Chiefs at some point, and I said this could be the one, but I didn't pick them. I part of me thought that maybe it was the one, but I didn't pick them. And I was texting you on Sunday saying, man, I really wish I would have taken them, because once I heard Patrick Mahomes had the flu and it was Brandon Perna's birthday, you knew that the Broncos were going to win. I just knew it. And it was actually fun to see the Broncos have a good game and beat the Chiefs, because it was 16 losses in a row. They haven't won against the Broncos in 8 years. I mean, the Broncos haven't beat the Chiefs in 8 years.
2015.
So, yeah, it was nice to actually see it for once. And the Chiefs, they feel like Superman, because I don't really think they have that great of a roster, but they're also almost invincible at the same time. So it's nice to see that there is some kryptonite out there and they're not invincible, and there might be a blueprint on how to beat them now.
Yeah, you just got to get
That's
Patrick
one
Mahomes
reason.
sick before every game.
That's one reason I'm taking Miami. Tyreek Hill is going up against his old team, so he wants to have a big game.
Equals what? Revenge, revenge, revenge.
And he hasn't had a game yet this year that wasn't big. He's just been amazing. He just keeps on getting better and better. He's better in Miami than he was in Kansas City, which is nuts.
Ridiculous.
It is
just
nuts.
ridiculous.
Miami is just so fast. Yeah, their defense is up and down, but I just don't think that Kansas City has a good offense. Like, they have Mahomes, they have Kelsey, they have their running back. I always want to call him Panchero, like the burrito place, Pancheco. But I mean, beyond that, they don't have a capable wide receiver. Like, none of their wide receivers are any good. Sky Moore's a rookie, so I won't bash him. But I mean,
Sky Moore's not a rookie.
Who's their rookie then?
Rice.
Okay, I knew that rookie. Sky Moore is pretty garbage though.
Yeah.
MVS is garbage.
McCole Hardman, not great.
No, they just traded for him again, which makes no sense. And then the one dude that they traded for last year from the Giants, I can't
Kadarius
think.
Toney.
Yeah, he's garbage. Yeah, they don't have a good offense. Their defense isn't too shabby, but I don't know. It's going to be a shootout, high-scoring game, 50.5 points. That sounds about right. It is a coin flip, but I am going Miami because I just got feeling.
The only reason that I was really considering taking Miami is because that I know that Taylor Swift won't be in attendance, but I think Kelsey's going to break that streak this week and have a big game. So
we'll see. I'm going to be tuning in because it's could be a playoff matchup. Who knows? Could be the 1 and 2 seeds. Who knows? But it could be. You never know. There's still half a season left to go. These teams could lose out and maybe not even make the playoffs.
That is true. You never know.
Then I'll
Nothing is
come
easy,
back.
Diesel.
What's that?
Nothing is easy.
Nothing is easy, as your name says. I like how you get a new middle name every single week. It's like
You know, it's
you
my
have to
family
like
tradition.
go to like the courthouse and like sign some papers and make it official.
Hey man, after 2020, everything's online. It's really easy. It's just a couple keystrokes and bada bing, bada boom, new middle name.
Nice. Moving back to the stateside, we have our first game at noon, and it is the 4-4 Minnesota Vikings traveling to the 4-4 Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta is favored by 4.5 with a 37.5 point over under, and the fan vote has Atlanta at 66%. And if Kirk Cousins was playing this game, I guarantee you Minnesota would be favored.
By a billion.
They probably would have a higher over-under, and I think the fan vote would have Minnesota winning this game. But, I mean, now they have Josh Dobbs because Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles, which, I mean, as a Packers fan, I'm not going to lie, it sucks. Like, I know I didn't want to see that. And, like, I was kind of feeling Kirk Cousins this year. With the Packers having a down year, I'm just kind of riding this whole, like, NFL wave. And, like, teams don't matter as much to me right now, as much as, like, I'm just enjoying watching good players play. And Kirk Cousins was having a good year this year. And so I was very sad to see him get hurt. And I knew when it happened that it was his Achilles because his foot did the same thing as Aaron Rodgers. It just kind of went flat. And I felt horrible for the guy. I don't feel as horrible for the Vikings because they're the Vikings, but yeah, they're not winning this game, unfortunately. It's Taylor time, and it couldn't come at a better time for him to make his first start as a Falcon and maybe get some confidence under him. And it's just, it would be a totally, even if Justin Jefferson was playing, it might be even a little bit different. But yeah, poor Minnesota, because they were looking like they were going to be a playoff team. And now it's like they just pretty much handed that division to the Lions. I think you can almost call it. You can almost call it. The Lions have won the North.
Yeah, I mean, I really do like the trade for Josh Dobbs. I think that was a smart move, but I don't think he's going to end up playing this week, and they're going to end up having to start the rookie haul.
6th round rookie, yeah.
Yeah, again, because there's just no way that Josh Dobbs can get up to speed that quickly. I know that he's a rocket scientist or whatever like that, but to learn an entire playbook in this point, 4 days, and to play competently against a NFL defense, I'm not saying he can't do it, but he will be using a very bare bones offense if he does.
I mean, he already did it once this year. He got traded to the Cardinals a week before the season started, and then almost beat the Giants, and then almost beat, I forget who it was week 2, but they did beat the Cowboys.
He did beat the Cowboys.
If anyone can do it, it's him.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess Baker Mayfield did learn the Rams offense in a week last year and win a game.
But he was playing the Raiders.
It's true. We'll get to them later. Yes, but man, I wish, once again, I've been just hating on the Vikings all year this year, and I was going to continue hating on the Vikings, even though it did really look like they were about to just start reeling off victory after victory. I really didn't want to see Kirk Cousins get injured like that. You feel bad for the guy. He really, really works hard and
contract year too.
Yeah, contract year. Seems like a nice dude, and just to watch it, just like you could see immediately that it was bad. It was when the announcers knew it was bad. They knew it was bad on Red Zone. It was bad. It was immediately like, oh shit, he's done. Like, unless a miracle happens, he is done, and no one wants to see that. Now, on the other hand,
wait, I just want to say, before we get off of the Cousins, I do think, like, before the game on Sunday, the chances of him being a Viking was a lot lower than it is now. I think that he resigns with the Vikings now because I don't think other teams will take a chance on him, but I think the Vikings will probably give him the best deal just because loyalty. I think that he'll be a Viking again next year, which kind of sucks as a Packers fan, but I don't know. I just feel bad for the guy.
I do completely agree that I think at this point I would say 75% chance that he's a Viking next year instead of it being like a 25% chance that he was going to be a Viking next year. So this injury is good for Vikings fans if you like Kirk Cousins, which I know a lot of you don't. So, take that as it is. But yes, on to Atlanta. It is Taylor time. My boy texted me at halftime. I didn't ruin the surprise for Diesel that he was coming out. Only thing I'm worried about is Arthur Smith is still... Just don't pull the Bill Belichick. Like, just please don't pull the Bill. All right? You pulled Desmond in the second half, and I know he was also injured. So you said you were trying to protect him. But you know what? Let's continue to protect Desmond from himself and stop embarrassing him. Let him be a backup like he's supposed to be. Let Taylor shine. I got the Atlanta Falcons in this game. And you know what, folks? This is a bronze lock of the week because I really want to put it on Taylor Heinicke. So give it to me, and I will eat those 4 points.
4.5.
4.5 points. Gross. That's a lot of points, but you know what? Taylor's going to throw the ball all over the yard and could have won this game last week if, Will the Mayo Man Levis didn't decide that he was going to just huck the ball all over the field.
I mean, I almost called it. I did say last week the reason Atlanta was going to win was because at halftime they were going to switch quarterbacks and Taylor Heinicke was going to bring him back, and he almost did. And I was like, I really wanted it to happen. Even though I was enjoying Will Levis, I really wanted to see Atlanta make a comeback just because of that. So I'm like, yes, I'm smart. But apparently I'm not as smart as I wanted to be.
One of the most fun games to watch last week, for sure.
It was, because Atlanta looked like Atlanta from last year in that game, where they had all the most exciting games. But moving on, the next game at noon, we have the 1-7 Arizona Cardinals traveling to the 4-3 Cleveland Browns. The Browns are favored by 7 with a 38.5 point over/under, and 96% of the fans are picking Cleveland. Kyler Murray could be starting this game. They don't know yet. It's like basically he's day-to-day at this point. I would be surprised if he did, just because I feel like they would announce by now if he was going to start. I feel like he's not ready to go yet. I don't even know who is starting for the Cardinals because they traded Dobbs. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter because, I know it's your turn to pick first, but I mean, I can guarantee you neither of us are picking Arizona.
Nah. There's a part of me that wants to be really contrarian and try and pick Arizona and make up some bullshit reason why, but nah, I don't even really feel no. I mean, good on Arizona once again for knowing what you are this year and going full on fire sale, getting anything you can, and also just tanking it up because, other teams don't seem to get the memo and understand the concept, but you do, Arizona, and I'm proud of you. So, way to stick to the script and actually do what you're supposed to. But yeah, not a chance in hell am I picking Arizona this week. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's not great. I mean, they got PJ Walker starting for them. Who knows?
They have a quarterback problem as well, so.
Who knows when Deshaun Watson's going to play again because his shoulder is broken. And
who cares?
Right, exactly. They don't have, they just keep on having to throw in a new guy at running back because everyone's getting hurt. Amari Cooper's still been doing good. And Njoku shows up sometimes. They just traded Peoples-Jones to Detroit. So, I think that they realize that this season might be a wash. But, they're going to be 5-3 after this week. So, maybe they shouldn't give up so soon, I guess. But,
yeah.
Who knows? Anything can happen. PJ Walker isn't, the worst quarterback in the league. He's playing better than Jordan Love most of the time. So...
that's pretty easy to say. When you start from the bottom, you really don't have to go far to go up.
Why are we so bad at this?
Speaking of Jordan Love, the next game at noon is
Segway.
The 3-5 Los Angeles Rams traveling to the 2-5 Green Bay Packers. And I feel like Vegas was really high when they chose this spread.
I am high as a songbird.
Even though I know that Matthew Stafford might not play because he has a sprained joint in his thumb or ligament in his thumb. But Green Bay is favored by 3 with a 39.5 point over-under. But still the fans have the Rams at 79%. I mean, I'm not picking Green Bay. Green Bay, they're not a good team.
Dude.
They have good players. They have talent on that team. They're not a good team. They're horribly coached. They're a horribly run team. It goes from all the way up to the top. Mark Murphy, he'll be gone in 2 years because once you're 70, you can no longer be the president of the Packers. So I pray that they hire from the outside, which they won't. Mark Murphy's can't pick his successor. Just wants some new blood in this organization, run this organization, so maybe we can actually do something. But Gutekunst is not doing a great job at general manager, and LaFleur needs to go. They need to pretty much just get rid of all the coaches because, look at this one simple fact. The penalties that they get are just so undisciplined, and that comes from coaching. They shouldn't be having so many delay games and stuff like it. It was really frustrating to watch on Sunday. For the first time all year, I actually got mad. I was yelling at my TV in that fourth in the red zone when Jordan Love ran the ball, and he ran right into the Vikings defender. But if he would have angled to the right, he could have clearly got 4 yards and picked up the first down. On fourth down, I jumped out of my chair and I was screaming at my TV, and I was pointing at the replay you should have went there. There's a big hole right there. Oh my, yeah. I was at that point. I just turned off the Packer game and just went solely to red zone. I had both of them going, and I was mainly paying attention to red zone anyways because the Packers were so bad in this game. There's no way they should have lost that game. They had every chance in the world in the second half to come back and win that game, and they just didn't. They just didn't. Traded Rasul Douglas away, which, I'm not happy about it because I am a big Rasul Douglas fan. But if you look at the brass tacks, they got a practice squad guy and traded him away and got a third-round pick back. I know they gave him a fifth too, but it's kind of a win there. He
got
was
off of that contract as well. You paid him he had a pretty hefty contract, not huge.
And he was under contract for the next 2 to 3 years as well, which is kind of a shame. But it is what it is. We are in a rebuilding mode, and that's what you do when you're rebuilding. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't sell off more pieces. But then they go off and give Rashawn Gary this big contract, which he's not the highest paid defensive player in the league, which is right because he's not the best defensive player in the league. So he shouldn't be the highest paid, but he got a fair contract in my opinion. And I'm excited that we re-signed him because he's a pretty good player. He's a good pass rusher. He is no Clay Matthews, so I wish he wasn't wearing 52, but I got the Rams in this game if I didn't say that before.
Yeah, I also have the Rams in this game. I have the Rams in this game because who's going to play cornerback now for the Packers? They just got ripped up by the Vikings without Justin Jefferson. And you know what? The Rams do have their number one wide receiver, and they also have Puka Nacua, and they also have Tutu Atwell, and they also have, I think, Higbee still.
Yeah,
it sounds right for the. Mm-hmm. That sounds right for their tight end. And they're also going to probably elevate Darrell Henderson once again. because it's the third and last time they can do that from the practice squad before they have to sign him. And you know what? I just don't see the Packers defense, no matter who is at quarterback, being able to stop the Rams at all. So you know what, folks? Because it also matches the Packers colors, I'm putting it against them. This is the golden lock of the week. Yeah, eat those points against, or not even take the points, because the Packers are favored in this game. I love getting +3 against the Packers. I will be taking the money line in this game. And I'm sorry to my wonderful, wonderful wife who will be at this game that you will have to watch them lose. It just sucks to be there, but you'll have a good time anyways. I'm sorry they're going to lose, though.
Bunch of losers.
You know what? I just realized I didn't mention who was on bye. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do that now because I just thought about it. This week on byes, we have the San Francisco 49ers, Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Denver Broncos. So we already talked about San Francisco and Denver. No, we didn't talk about San Francisco. We talked about Denver. But we will be talking about San Francisco because that's not the next game. The next game is at noon. We have the 3-5 Washington Red. No, dang it. I did it again. Washington Commanders. I told you before we started recording there's a common theme, so my brain was just like looking at that. So I went into autopilot, and they were the Redskins for so many years that it just like when I think about it, that's what comes out. The Washington Commanders traveling to the 2-6 New England Patriots. The Patriots are favored by 3 with a 40.5 point over-under, and the fans also have Washington at 62%. I'll just tell you what the common theme is. Vegas has 9 games with the favorite at 3 points. 9 games in the last 6 games are all favored by 3 points. So either like something broke in Vegas or ESPN just went haywire.
No, it means that Vegas has no real clue because
Well, actually, sir, we don't know yet.
I think it's like 70 to 80% of all games are determined by 3 points. And so when Vegas doesn't have a clue, they just put everything at 3 and they wait to see where the smart money goes, and then they move the lines accordingly. So when everything's at 3, it just means that Vegas is like, shit, I don't know what the hell's going on. Because no one knows what's going on anymore, because the NFL this year has been absolutely chaotic.
Chaos.
As to this game, do you want me to talk first about it?
Yep,
Because
I was going to say, I mean, it's the Patriots. They let you go first to the Patriots. And I went first last time.
This is one of those games where why I praised the Arizona Cardinals earlier. This is why I know that Bill Belichick will not stick to the script. And I hate myself. I'm going to pick the Patriots this week against the Washington Commies because the Commies defense is so bad. And they just legitimately traded away the only 2 good pieces they had on defense. So even though the Patriots are led by Chuckle Jones, who I just despise, and I want the Patriots to lose out so badly because we need a new quarterback. They're going to beat the Commies this week. The Patriots defense is still the Patriots defense, and Sam Howell is going to be the man, but he is still very young and a turnover machine. And you know what Bill Belichick does? He feasts against young quarterbacks who are turnover machines. And that just commie defense has nothing on it anymore. And Tugboat Tom, aka Riverboat Ron, he's just coaching to lose his job. So unfortunately, the Patriots are going to get another victory this week and push ourselves farther up in the draft. And I just suck so bad. We're going to pick it like 16 again this year, and just sucks. It just sucks. But yes, give me the Patriots to win. Woo! Go team.
I hate this.
What makes you feel any better? I'm taking Washington in this game. only because of
rooting
the
for you.
fact. Yes, everything you said about Washington's defense is 100% correct. They are a shell of what they were last week by just losing those two players. Ron Rivera, even though has been a very talented defensive coordinator, hasn't figured out how to put it together as a head coach. And even when he was with the Panthers, his defenses were shaky. The year they went to the Super Bowl, they were good, but like he has too much responsibility as a head coach, and his defense is getting neglected. Even though I know they have a defensive coordinator, he's the one who's really calling the shots. We know that. But I have a feeling that McCorkle isn't going to have his best game this week. And I feel like it's going to be one of those games where he's just so many incompletions and just some stupid reads, throwing interceptions to some just bad plays. I just have a feeling that Washington's going to win this game because maybe deep down New England is feeling the same thing you are, and they want a high draft pick. So, I mean, they're not, like, actively tanking, but maybe subconsciously. I don't know.
Be really nice.
I mean, New England's not 100% healthy either. So it's not like, it's not crazy to say Washington's going to win that game. That's why this week's so hard, because the matchups, when they made this schedule, they looked at it like, what's going to happen in week 9? Right after the trade deadline. And these teams are probably going to be bad. Oh, this team's going to be injured. I know they're going to be injured. So we're going to put them together. So it's scripted. It's 100% scripted. I'm telling you.
Totally is.
Next game, Sunday, noon, we have the 2-6 Chicago Bears traveling to the 4-4 New Orleans Saints. The Saints are favored by 7 with a 41.5 point over-under and a 93% fan vote for the Saints. And I'm taking the Saints because Bagent, I don't know why he was so good a couple weeks ago, and last week he looked like a Division II quarterback. The Bears aren't good. Yeah, they got Sweat now, but like their defense is not very good before they got Sweat. And I think it would be the funniest thing ever if he left in free agency. They traded for him, traded a second-round pick, and he doesn't re-sign with them. I'm kind of surprised they didn't announce a contract extension already, because you'd think that they would have worked that out before they made that deal. And that would have been another reason why they give up a second-round pick, because they already had something worked out. But if they did, you'd think they would have announced it already.
You'd think so.
I just really hope he leaves. That'd be the funniest thing ever. They just wasted a second-round pick. They're not even going to make the playoffs. I don't know what they're doing. I got New Orleans. New Orleans isn't a bad team. They're just not a good team. They're like right in the middle. If I had to pick a spot for New Orleans, I'd probably put them right at 16.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. I think I've been a little harsh on New Orleans this year, where I don't think I've undersold them, but I think I've just said they are a lot worse than they actually are, where I think you're 100% right, Diesel, that they are.
Kamara's good, though.
Yeah, and they are pretty much exactly dead middle of the pack, and they just keep finding ways to win. And this last week against Indy, that offense scored a shit ton of points. And I don't know if this usage of Alvin Kamara can continue and he doesn't die. I know he didn't start for the first 3 games of the season, so he didn't have to play those ones. But still, the amount of touches and the amount of just work that he is having to do each and every game just seems unhuman. So we'll see if that can continue. But yeah, I have New Orleans in this game. There's no reason not to pick New Orleans. And I have nothing else to say about this. Woo.
The only way Chicago wins this game is if New Orleans is looking ahead. I don't know who they have next week, but I mean, that's the only way I could, this should be a cakewalk for New Orleans. They're talented enough to just go out there and show up and beat the Bears, because the Bears are not a good team.
Yeah, and even if Justin Fields does come back this week, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see them clean house coaching staff wise as well in this offseason. But That's
Probably
the Bear
should.
way. That's just the Bear way. That's how they do it. Bear down.
Bear down.
Moving on, Sunday at noon, we have, this is probably Chad's game of the week, I would guess. Because it is maybe not, because there's another big one on Sunday. Sunday Night Football. We have the 5-2 Seattle Seahawks traveling to the 6-2 Baltimore Ravens. We got the caw game. That's what I'm calling it. Baltimore's favored by 5.5, which I find interesting that this one's not 3, because you think of if any of them would be 3, this one would be 3. But no, Baltimore's favored by 5.5 with a 43.5 point over under, and the fan vote has Baltimore at 85%. Chad, why are you picking Baltimore this week?
I mean, I feel like at this point I'm beating a dead horse because I'm going to say the exact same things I say every single week. I am going to say that the Ravens get up for big games. This is a big game. Seattle is the first place team in the NFC West, as shocking as it seems to say at week 9 that this would be. And Diesel looks real freaking smart right now at this point. But the Ravens get the F up when it's time. This game is in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson and them they 100% were looking past the Cardinals. And not even looking past them, they do what the Ravens do. I told you last week, I would not be shocked if the Ravens lost that game last week. They didn't lose it, but by golly, they tried many, many different ways to make that game way more interesting than it should have been. Just drop passes and stupid plays. They're not going to do that this week, folks. This is against Seattle. They are going to hammer Seattle. And you want to know why the line is at -5.5? Because the Las Vegas smart guys know who Seattle is on the road. And don't get me wrong, I like Seattle. I really do. But they are another team that I think is a good team, not a great team. And going into Baltimore, traveling all the way across country, west to east coast, is way harder than going east to west. Just is. Yeah, there's so many reasons to have Baltimore in this game. And this is, of course, the Baltimore Ravens lock of the week. Caw, fly, Ravens, fly. Sorry, sea chickens.
Let me give you a little bit of a spoiler alert. On my power rankings, I do have Baltimore ahead of Seattle.
I'm proud of you.
But I'm picking Seattle in this game. You know why?
Saw that coming.
You know why? It's going to come down. It's going to be in the fourth quarter. It's going to be in the witching hour. And it's going to come down to coaching. And you know what's going to happen? John Harbaugh is going to do something totally stupid and cost the Ravens this game. I feel like Seattle's defense is being slept on. I feel like people don't believe in their defense. And I also feel like Geno Smith is just in the perfect system for him. He has great receivers. He has 2 good running backs. They have a good offensive line. This is going to be a battle. It's going to be a really fun game to watch. And last time I picked against Baltimore was the Lions game, and we all know what happened in that game. And I'm not talking trash about Baltimore, because I do think Baltimore's good. Like I said, I'm in my power rankings, I have Baltimore higher. I think that overall, Baltimore is the stronger team. But I think that Seattle has the better coach, and I'm just not a believer in John Harbaugh. He's going to be on Jaguar 9, whatever his thing is. I can't remember. I should have looked it up. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. He's
worst
be
decisions ever.
Yeah, worst decisions ever this week. I'm calling it. And it's going to be something so dumb. Because now that Josh McDaniels isn't there, it's just going to be the John Harbaugh show on those episodes.
Him and Mike McCarthy going to trade back and forth.
I feel like it's going to even be like a 1-point victory or a 2-point victory for Seattle. It's going to be something so dumb that, I don't know, John Harbaugh is just going to screw the Baltimore Ravens over like he always does.
I will give you a spoiler warning for my power rankings of the Baltimore Ravens. My weakness, I did give them, is coaching.
Well, I mean, there you go, because that is definitely their biggest weakness. Maybe ownership as well, but
Possibly.
moving on. Last game at noon, we have the 3-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the 3-4 Houston Texans. Houston is favored by 3 with a 39.5 point over under, and Tampa Bay has the fan vote at 55%. Who you got in this game, Chad, and why?
I have shit. This is another game that I really am not happy about because it goes. I really want to take Tampa Bay in this game. I think coming back, Baker could have a good game. But the reason that I don't want to take Tampa Bay in this game is because Houston is coming off of a loss. And I feel like DeMeco Ryan is going to get these boys up. CJ Stroud is going to play a lot better than he did this last week against Carolina. It's Baker Mayfield, and I'm riding the Baker Mayfield train. Shit. I'm... as I said, I wasn't kidding when I said I had the gold lock this week, and it was going against the Packers, and that was it. That was the only game I had decided before I walked into doing this recording. I'm going to take Houston. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I am going to go with the youth. I don't know if Baker is going to get his head back on straight. I feel like this could be the beginning of the end. I'm on the Baker Mayfield bus. I'm going to ride it till it rides off this cliff. But I'm taking Houston and CJ Stroud, and I don't know. I could be 1,000% wrong. I don't care. Maybe this is reverse logic. Who knows?
Did you not watch last Thursday? Baker was not the reason they lost. Baker actually had a good game. And Baker threw a perfect ball to win them that game. That Hail Mary, it hit Godwin. If he would have turned around, he would have caught it, and they would have won. Or at least they would have tied the game with the chance of the extra point to win the game. Like, Baker had a career moment ripped away from him. Like, we should be talking about Baker had this excellent moment. The Buccaneers are 4-3, but his receiver doesn't believe in him. Like, Baker has, like, everyone talks about how Baker doesn't have a strong arm, blah, 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 blah. So his own receiver believed all that hype and didn't even turn around to catch the damn ball. Tampa Bay should have won.
So do you have Tampa Bay in this game?
I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know how to go because, I mean, Houston just lost to Carolina and just got their first win, and they did not look good against Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go reluctantly. I'm going with Tampa Bay because I still believe in Baker, and even if his receivers don't, it looks like Mike Evans is starting to buy in again. I think Vita Vea is playing this week. I hope he's playing this week. This is a toss-up. That's why, like, you're right. That's why Vegas put it at 3. They don't know either. I don't like that they matched these guys up this week. I don't. But
I
you
like
know
DeMeco Ryans a lot more than Todd Bowles. That's really what it comes down
Todd
to.
Bowles is not a very good coach. He was riding on Red Face's
Bruce Arians.
coattails. Yeah, Bruce Arians. Even though I don't think Bruce Arians was the best coach, he had Tom Brady. Because, I mean, when he was in I guess he did win a couple playoff games with Carson Palmer in Arizona, but it happened. It did happen. They beat the Packers, too. I like calling him Red Face because, like, he just gets so mad. I thought he was going to die that one game. Like, when his face was as red as his shirt.
Yeah.
I was
when
really
he used to have to wear the Arizona Cardinals shirt, it was even worse. As a man whose face gets very red as well, you got to avoid that color, and he just couldn't. That was the team colors. So
yeah, this game, like I said, I'm half picking Tampa Bay because he picked Houston, and I believe in Baker, and I believe in CJ Stroud as well. This is a tough one, but I'm going with Tampa Bay. Moving on to the late afternoon games, we have at 3:05 The 3-5 Indianapolis Colts traveling to the 1-6 Carolina Panthers. Indy is favored by 3 with a 44.5 point over-under, and the fan vote has them at 86%. And you would think that, yeah, Indy should win this game, but they didn't look very good on Sunday. But they've looked good in the past. I think they're going to have a rebound game, actually. I say Jonathan Taylor is finally getting his sea legs back, and Zach Moss is a great compliment to him, and he hasn't slowed down. So I'm going to go with Indy winning this game because Carolina is still not that good. And, yeah, I mean, why else? Why else not?
I'm really, really mad at myself that I didn't follow through and pick Carolina last week. I talked about that Carolina was probably going to get a win somewhere around here, and I was like, it's against the non-division foe. I really thought they could have. I should have picked them last week. I really, really should have picked them last week because they did win. This week, though.
But that's going to be a hard no from me.
Nah, bro. Nah, I'm sorry. Not New Orleans. Indy looked poor against New Orleans, but they didn't look poor on offense. They scored enough points to win that game. Their defense just didn't show up at all, and suddenly New Orleans and Hill and Shaheed just put up a freaking 30 burger on them. Carolina, they aren't going to put a 30 burger up on you ever this year. I don't have the stats here, Stat Boy Chad. Bing! I don't think Carolina scored more than 22 points this year in a single game because they have been terrible on offense. They're just not very good. They're not letting Bryce Young go out there and be Bryce Young and do Bryce Young things. The only one on offense who's doing anything is Adam Thielen, and he's 100 years old. They have no running game. Their defense looks solid at times, but then also super porous. I mean, there's just no reason that Carolina is going to win this game. And I know they're at home again, but yeah, no, I'm not picking Carolina. I know they got their first win last week, but they're not getting their second win this week. Got a big Gardner Minshew bounce back game. And also Jonathan Taylor just looking more and more like Jonathan Taylor. And I know he got that extension, but I think in the offseason, he's once again going to request another trade just to be like, come on, guys, can I leave now? I'm going to do really good this year. Just can I go, please?
Get me out of here!
Yeah, that's probably, I don't know if he will or not. I hope that he gets traded to the Packers, but they know that's not going to happen. I wish, knowing what we know now.
Should have traded Christian Watson for him, huh?
That's what I'm saying. I wish, knowing what we know now, that should have traded Christian Watson but speaking of Adam Thielen, if you want to, Adam Thielen, his rookie year, he was on the practice squad, and it took him a couple years to figure it out. Devontae Adams didn't figure it out till year 3. Christian Watson is only in year 2, so, I mean, maybe it is a little too early to give up on him, but, man, it's not looking good. He looks like he has a lot of talent, but he's not, something not clicking. Yeah. That's why I've been saying the whole time, Romeo Doubs is their guy. And I like Dobbs, but anyways, we're not talking about the Packers. Sorry, you had to bring up something to make me talk about the Packers. You always do this.
I did. It's my fault. I'll take the bullet on that one.
Just realized there's only 3 late games, so that kind of sucks for red zone viewing. But
yeah.
Because we have one of them is Indianapolis and Carolina, and the next one is the 2-6 New York Giants traveling to the 3-5 Las Vegas Raiders. Even though the Raiders just fired their coach and benched their starting QB, they are favored by 3 in this game, which rightfully so. And the over-under is 38.5, and even the fans think Vegas is going to win this game because they have them at 74%. And man, are the Giants. The Giants might be worse than the Packers, or at least they're dumber than the Packers. How they lost that game to the Jets. It was like Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship against the Bills. Like, let Zach Wilson go down. We get enough to get a field goal. Like,
Two
that was a
35-yard
perfect spike.
gains.
That was a perfect spike, though, with 1 second left. Like, we left them just the right amount of time.
It
And
was perfect.
I knew when we went into overtime, the Jets were winning that game. But
Obviously, yeah.
who do you got in this game?
You know what's funny is I know that last week the Giants had -7 passing yards.
-9.
-9. Sorry,
Yeah.
I misspoke. -9 passing yards as a team in an entire game. No, not even an entire game. An entire game plus overtime. Plus overtime. -9 passing yards with the rules that are in place in today's NFL. And that has to be some kind of that is going to be a trivia question for the rest of time. Like, it's going to go, what is the one team in NFL history after the modern era started who had minus passing yards for an entire game plus overtime? It was the New York Giants. But you know what, folks? White Michael Vick is back this week, folks, from his neck injury. And Saquon Barkley is still Saquon Barkley. And I know that they couldn't throw the ball last week, and they probably won't be able to throw the ball that much this week. But the Raiders are so bad. When you're benching Jimmy Garoppolo, you're firing your entire coaching staff. And I know there's this thing in college football where usually when you fire the coach and the coaching staff, the interim coach steps up and gets a victory in that next game. I don't even know who they're going, like, are they going to have the ball boy coach this game? They fired everyone.
They promoted their linebackers coach to forget his name. Yeah, he's the head coach now. But yeah, I don't know. Vegas could easily be 5-3. I mean, they should have won a couple weeks. They should have won last week too. Devontae Adams, rightfully so, is angry because they're not throwing him the ball. When they were throwing him the ball, it was tipped or it was like in double coverage. It wasn't the time to throw him the ball. And I think that he threw McDaniels under the bus without saying anything. But I think after the game, when he refused to basically say what his true feelings were on Monday night, I guess they shouldn't have won on Monday. I forgot they played the Lions. But they definitely should have beat the Bears.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm more upset that McDaniels got fired before Staley did. But
you just can't nail that first coach firing, can you, Diesel?
No, but I mean, Staley's the next to go.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. I got Las Vegas in this game because I still think, Devontae Adams is still their number one receiver. Jacoby Jones is having one of the best seasons of his career. I don't know if that was just McDaniels bias or what. Rookie tight end Michael Mayer is looking like he's going to be a good one. Max Crosby is still a beast, and nobody gives Marcus Peters the credit he deserves. That guy is still a beast. Even though he's in his 30s, that guy can still play. And he's been one of my favorite players in the NFL for years, all the way back when he was with the Steelers. I got Vegas in this game because I think that the Giants are just that bad. They are in the mirror world. They are the Chiefs. They are. Look at their teams. The way they're constructed, in a way, they're almost the exact opposite of the Chiefs, but the same at the same time. They're red and blue, which is almost opposite. I don't know. It's weird.
There's a bizarro version of the Chiefs. I get it. I'm on your side. I'm not saying you're crazy. I just did think it's a wild thing to say.
And it's a little bit of an out there idea.
I think Vegas is going to win this game, but who knows though? This is one of those games. Who knows? We have so many. I was right. We have so many different games this week. But yeah, moving on. Next game. This one's even a tough one to pick because it's America's Game of the Week. It's the 5-2 Dallas Cowboys traveling to the 7-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are favored by 3 with a 46.5 point over under. And the fan vote has the Eagles at 80%. And Dallas last week just obliterated. Who do they play? I don't even remember. That's how bad it was. Yeah, the Rams, yeah. Oh, man, they just... they obliterated the Rams. I honestly do think Dallas is going to come into Philadelphia and beat them. Because Philadelphia is human. They proved that. They lost to the Jets.
They did.
Dallas lost to Arizona, but...
They did.
That was away. Jets came into Philadelphia and beat Philadelphia.
That's true.
Even though, yeah, I just have this feeling about Dallas. They're clicking. Dak looked good. They looked really good on defense. I know it was the Rams, but I mean the Rams, their strong suit is their offense, and they just totally shut them down. It's going to be a good game. I think this one's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And this is going to be the only game that they're showing on Red Zone probably, because the other games are going to be pretty crappy. So you might as well just watch no, I'm not going to watch TV broadcast because there's commercials. I'm sticking with Red Zone.
Scott Hansen's way better than any commercial that ever existed. I'd rather listen to him talk about nonsense than watch any commercial that is out there.
So I have Dallas in this game. It's going to be a battle. AFC East isn't as good. I mean, the NFC East isn't as good as it was last year, but the two teams at the top are two of the best teams in the NFC, hands down.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said, but the difference that I think is that Dak, and I don't remember where I saw the stat, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it, so if future Chad finds the stat, it'll be there. Otherwise, I read a stat that Dak Prescott, when he's leading in the game, is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like he's almost perfect as a passer rating. The minute though that he is behind, he becomes one of the statistically worst quarterbacks in the NFL, where he just presses. And you know what? I know that Dallas has a good defense, but this is another time where the Rams just spotted them like 21 points in that first quarter. It felt like it went from 0 to 21-0 in the span of 5 minutes, because it basically did. Because there was a block punt, there was a pick six, and when Dallas is rolling, Dallas rolls. That's who they are. I don't think they can do that in Philly. I don't think, even though I know Jalen Hurts has become a turnover machine these past few weeks, I think that they were looking a little ahead over the commies this last week. I know that they just don't respect the commies, and maybe they were right in not respecting the commies because they traded everyone away, and they're a bad team. We're not talking about commies though. The Eagles are a good team, good bordering on great. They're not as good as they were last year, but they are still gosh damn really good. So give me the Eagles in this game, and this will be the silver lock of the week, folks, because you know what? I am going to eat those points in Philadelphia, because even if the game is close near the end, I can see Dak pulling a Dak and throwing a late pick six and sealing the game in the opposite way, because he presses and he gets a little Brett Favre-ian near the end of games when he's losing and starts making some bad decisions. So give me the Eagles. He does. Silver lock of the week. Eagles eat those points.
So, a question I have about the Cowboys is, how has Dan Quinn been passed up the past 2 off seasons for a head coaching gig? Like, honestly, I know that
28-3.
I still kind of thought him getting canned in Atlanta was a little premature. What's that?
28-3.
No, I mean, yeah, that happened. That happened, but let's be honest though. You wouldn't take Dan Quinn as a head coach?
I'm just saying why he hasn't got another head coaching job. 28-3. He has not washed that stink off yet, and it's going to take Dallas actually doing something in the playoffs. They're going to have to win a playoff game for Dan Quinn to get another head coaching opportunity.
Okay, that might be true, but That also being said, the defense wasn't what lost them the games in the playoffs the last 2 years against 49ers. So I'm just saying I
agree. I think Dan Quinn's a great coach and everything like that, but I'm just saying that 28-3 stigma, and it was his defense in that game that couldn't hold the lead. You were up 28-3. And I know the offense should have run the ball and everything like that, but still, you're a defensive coach.
I mean,
you should hold the lead.
Say that Kyle Shanahan kind of took his foot off the gas.
We're letting them get away?
Which you never want to do. You should never do that, ever. That's a bad idea. I'm just saying, if, like, Matt LaFleur got fired this year, I mean, I'd be all for the Packers hiring Dan Quinn as that coach. Just saying.
Yeah. Just throwing it out there.
Or even defensive coordinator. Fire Joe Barry and just bring him in as defensive coordinator. I would love that.
Throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Sunday Night Football has a heavyweight battle between the 5-3 Buffalo Bills traveling to the 4-3 Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 3 with a 48.5 point over-under. And the fan vote has the Bengals at 57%. And fun fact, Joe Burrow has never lost to Buffalo.
Huh. I can believe it. And there's one draw.
I'm pretty sure he's never lost to Buffalo. Yeah, I mean, that's not a draw. That game didn't count towards their records. So it never happened.
Never happened. Just forfeiture. But it's not even a forfeiture.
Joe
I don't even know
Burrow
what it's called.
came out and he was rolling that game. They would have won that game for sure. And then they beat him in the playoffs. So
they beat him real bad in the playoffs.
They beat him real bad in the playoffs.
Real bad.
You got in this game. You go first.
I 100% have Cincinnati in this game. I don't believe in Buffalo. I've been off the Buffalo bandwagon this entire season. I don't believe in them anymore since the start of the season. I know they had that slight little bounce back where it seemed like maybe Buffalo was coming back, but I didn't believe it. I still don't believe it. And the Bengals are really good, like really, really good. And they just, once again, use those first 4 games of the NFL season as their preseason, and they just don't care about them. They go, whatever. We might lose them, we might win them, doesn't matter. We're going to turn it on come week 4, week 5, and then we are just going to ball. And that's what they're doing. I have Cincinnati. I have Cincinnati in a bonus lock. I don't care if this game got up to -5. I would eat all of those points because I think Cincinnati comes out and once again makes Buffalo look bad. Just really, really bad.
Is the NFL tempting fate by putting this game in prime time?
I didn't want to say it. I thought it though when I was like, they're just really like, and Sunday Night Football's not been good this year. So now we're just going to throw these two on Sunday Night Football to just go, hey, let's see what happens. Like, come on.
I also am taking Cincinnati, and I said a few weeks ago that I was off the Cincinnati bandwagon until they proved to me that they could be Cincinnati again, and they're Cincinnati again. Once Joe Burrow remembered that he had Jamar Chase on his team, they totally turned everything around. Like, it's all it took. Like, seriously, They started throwing it to Chase, and then all of a sudden they're good again. I don't know why he didn't remember that he had his college teammate on his team.
Always open.
Always open. And Mixon finally showed up for the first time all year, too. We both look like the smartest people in the room because the fact we both took Cincinnati going to San Francisco, traveling across the country and winning that game. It wasn't even close. It was just like San Francisco versus Minnesota. Like, the score was closer than the game actually was. Like, Cincinnati dominated that game from the get-go, and I don't know what is happening with San Francisco. I think that this is the perfect time for them to have a bye.
Oh, yeah, they needed this bye worse than anyone else.
I bet you they come back off this bye, and they, are back to what they were doing before these 3 losses. But I didn't think that San Francisco would have a 3-game losing streak this season. I didn't think they'd even have a 2-game losing streak this season. It is crazy. And the teams that they've lost to, Cincinnati's a good team, but the Browns and the Vikings,
not so much.
But
Not
yeah,
so much.
Cincinnati is rolling again. I mean, Buffalo does have my guy Rasul Douglas now, but he's not going to start because they already have a bunch of corners. But he's definitely going to help them out. That's for sure. Buffalo isn't very good. Josh Allen is having the worst year of his career, and even though Stephon Diggs is still doing good, Josh Allen is just doing horrible. How many turnovers does he have? Too many. That's the answer. That's the answer. But yeah, Cincinnati, I'm back. The kitty goes meow. I'm back on that bandwagon. And yeah, well, I guess we'll have to hear what I have to say about Cincinnati when we do our power rankings.
Yes.
And then moving on to the final game of the week, Monday Night Football. Oh man, I might just skip this one. It is the 3-4 Los Angeles Chargers traveling to the 4-3 New York Jets. Who would have thought at this point of the season, after like how the season started, the Jets would have the better record in this game? Los Angeles is favored by 3 with a 41.5 point over under, and FanVote has Los Angeles at 66%. I don't know where to go with this game because for some reason, I mean, the Jets are a good team. Even without Aaron Rodgers, they just don't have a good quarterback. They had like better quarterback than Zach Wilson. It wouldn't be hard to believe that they're 4-3 or even better. If Aaron Rodgers is playing this year, the Jets might still be undefeated.
They could legitimately be knocking it undefeated. Like I
know we came into the season saying, yeah, the Jets aren't going to be as good as everyone thinks they are. But
they would.
I don't think it was going to take Aaron Rodgers that much to make this team like look like world beaters. Like
Garrett Wilson would be the number one receiver in the NFL this year if Aaron Rodgers was playing.
Sure. He's still having a good year.
Yeah.
And Zach Wilson's throwing him the ball. Yeah. I mean, they looked horrible against the Giants. They had like 15 punts or something like that.
They had 24. There was 25 punts in that game. The record is 27 and they knocked on the door.
The Jets deserved to win that game, though. Like, the Giants did everything they could to lose that game. When Dable went for the field goal instead of going for it on 4th down, it's like you have 1 yard, you get the first down, end the game. Like, you get 3 points, still 1 possession game. Game's not over. Crazy shit happens all the time in the NFL. You go, like, and plus, you missed the field goal, so then they get the ball even 7 yards closer than they would have if you would have went for it and didn't get the it was just a horrible decision from the get-go, and they deserve to lose that game because of that. And this game, I'm just talking because I don't know who to pick in this game, because the Chargers looked good last week, but they played the Bears. It was the first game of the season where the Chargers, like, from opening gun to closing gun, they looked like good. Like, I turned the game off after like the first quarter. I'm like, yeah, this game isn't going to be that fun to watch. And from what I saw from the highlights, it wasn't. And
the Bears left a bunch of points on the board, or table. Like, they could have scored more touchdowns, but Chargers won that game. But also
is a worse coach than can't think of his name right now.
Eberflus.
Baldy. What?
Are you talking about the Bears head coach or?
No, Jets head coach. For some reason.
Robert Saleh.
Yeah, Robert Saleh. That's why I call him Baldy. I think Robert Saleh is a better coach. I think he's a better defensive mind, and they have a better defense. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to say the Jets are going to win this game. I don't know. And if Aaron Rodgers comes back this year and the Jets keep on winning some of these games and Aaron Rodgers plays in the playoffs, we might actually get to see what the Jets were actually going to be this year. And what if the Jets sneak into the playoffs, get Aaron Rodgers, and by some miracle, Aaron Rodgers is 100%, and they just run the table, and they won the Super Bowl? I mean, I wouldn't be 100% mad at that, just because the way this season is going, that's what's going to happen. It's scripted. It's
I was gonna
scripted.
say
100%.
the NFL is scripted. Like if
I'm
that
going Jets.
happens, like if Aaron Rodgers comes back for the playoffs, the NFL is scripted, and no one can tell me any different. All right. I still, once again, sticking to my guns. I stand by this. I know they won against the Bears, but they're just still not a good team, in my opinion. Brandon Staley deserves to get fired. I think he gets outcoached in this game. And even though I don't know how the Jets can be so inept at offense with Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and just all the other pieces that they have, Lazard, and I know that Wilson isn't the best quarterback, but how they just couldn't get a first down. When I texted you at halftime that neither team had gotten a first down, or neither team
Burn on third down.
neither team had gotten a third down conversion throughout the entire first half. I wanted to be sick. I think that they come out and they have a much better game this week. It was a shitty weather game last week. That won't be a problem. I agree with you, Diesel. Give me the Jets in this game. And Justin Herbert just has to do too much with a broken middle finger and punctured lungs and a severed liver and probably 1,000 other injuries, because if he hasn't played for the Chargers have nothing. If MVP was actually an award that went to the actual most valuable player for a team, the only players who would ever actually win it would be Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson, because they're the only two players that legitimately make up the entire fundamentals of the team. And without those teams are just garbage.
Oh, I still believe in, like, was it 2011, the year that Peyton Manning was out the whole year for the Colts? He should have won MVP that year, because literally they were like, what, in the AFC Championship the year before, and then Peyton Manning misses the entire season. They win one game.
Yep, 1-15.
They have the same exact team. They just don't have Peyton Manning. Like, they
Yep.
should have given him the award. Like,
Probably.
100%. Yeah.
I wouldn't have been mad.
Those are the games this week. How many games do we have different? We have 1,
A lot.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I called it right at the beginning. I said this was going to be a week where we're going to have 7 different games. There's only 14 games. 50% of these games are different. I called it. I knew it. I looked at the schedule and I'm like, we're going to have 7 different games.
Shit. I only have a 3-game lead. This is the week, isn't it? This is the week.
But if I do really bad this week, you could win the season in this week.
I could.
Like, if, like, let's say you win all those games, you'd have a 10-game lead on me. That I ain't coming back. There ain't no way I'm coming back in it. Like, because you're gonna hedge your bets after that. I know you.
No, you know I don't hedge bets. You know I can't do it. I would try to hedge my bets and then I would just get too antsy and I would do something stupid.
Yeah, so these matchups are so crazy. I'm excited for this week because I think that we have 3 really good games, in my opinion, with the Dolphins, Chiefs, Dallas, and Philadelphia, Buffalo, Cincinnati. 4, Seattle and Baltimore. So we have some, like, really good games this week, and then we have some really crappy games like Minnesota, Atlanta, and Arizona, Cleveland.
But
Washington,
you know, in the end, those will be the best games of the week.
Yeah, because they're all shitty teams, and so, like,
who's gonna show up?
The only one I'm confident in is New Orleans beating the Bears. Every other game, I am not confident in any of my picks.
I feel about the same.
And yet, you didn't pick your gold lock for that game, or a lock in general.
Nah, because I'm staying the heck away from it.
Yeah.
Every time I put a lock anywhere near that Bears team, bad things happen. So I've learned from my mistakes.
Well, this has been fun. I had fun tonight.
What a blast. What a blast.
I'm glad we got to talk some football. It's always fun talking football. And, man, this season is so much different than last season. It is scripted.
Yep.
If we still named episodes, this episode would definitely be called scripted. Yeah.
Our show is not scripted.
I don't know what else to say besides maybe final thoughts. You got any?
I do have final thoughts this week. Make sure that you tune in on, I'm guessing Saturday is when it will drop, for Diesel and my mid-season power rankings, given our top 10 teams at the midway point for the year. Neither Diesel nor I know what the other one is picking. We are recording this separately, as Diesel mentioned earlier, so I'm very excited to see what Diesel picks, and I hope Diesel is excited to see what I pick. And also, we will be giving our updated picks for who we think will be in the Super Bowl. So besides that, though,
And
I
MVP.
have no idea what's happening in football. So, well, you know, I threw a bunch of darts, and that's how I picked my top 10.
Don't forget about our updated picks for MVP as well.
Yes, of course. I will have those as well.
I feel like offensive player of the year, that's going to Tariq Hill, so we don't even need to discuss that one.
We can agree on that one. I like it.
Other than that, what are our social media stuff?
I didn't hit the drum fast enough. Here we go, folks. Follow me here. Follow Diesel there. Follow the show down here. Make sure you're like, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And this week, why don't you comment, as we did just reach November, what is your favorite fall tradition to get into the, fall season?
You know what? I actually did one this weekend, and that was make some hot chocolate on the stove. Not the instant kind. We actually heat up some milk and then make it that way, and it was delicious. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while since I've done that, and that's a good one.
Hey, when you put in the time, you can taste it.
I do enjoy a good cup of hot cocoa.
Yeah, every once in a while. I'm not the biggest fan of hot drinks, but yeah, on a nice cool fall night, you can take some hot cocoa.
I mean, I did it on Saturday night when we were out handing out candy because we were sitting outside. 'Cause that's when our trick-or-treaters came by. And it hit the spot. But
Smart move.
other than that, I got nothing. It is November. It's crazy that it's November. This week's going to be crazy. How are we halfway through this season already? Still, nothing is clear. Even the bad teams, they're bad, but even the bad teams can still make the playoffs. That's what's crazy about this season. This is the most chaotic season we've had in a little while. So I'm okay with it. But until next week, when we find out that Chad is 10 games ahead of me in the standings, let's watch some football.
Bye. Not going to happen either.
This has been a Visionaries Global Media production. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.